Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Betrayal at Krondor. In our last episode, we solved the mystery of the missing ruby. And now, there's nothing between us and our quest southwards to Krondor, so let's take a look at our map and see where we go next. We're here at the crossroads running east of the town of Zun towards Hawk's Hollow, but we're not going that way, we already did that. Looks like it's a straight shot down this road southwards, past Quester's View here, then Sarth, and finally to Krondor. So it's a pretty straight path. There's one little road going off here, but we're not going to go that way. We're going to just make a straight shot for our goal. Let's head south, keeping an eye out for any assassins and anything else, of course. Locklear noticed a circle of holes. Instinct taking over where common sense had failed him, he shouted for stillness. "Don't move! In our daydreaming, we allowed ourselves to wander straight into a trap." Well, this is the first time we've seen a trap in this game, so to explain this, watch out for these poles. Any of these poles that are the same color, you don't want to walk between them. If I was to walk between these two red poles, I would get hit by a lightning bolt or something and take massive damage, so we need to go around that. So, Owen, you're going to head this way, like this. We need to take care as we walk around these traps. In fact, I'm going to have Owen just rest for a moment. One at a time, we're gonna do this. So we don't get in each other's way and accidentally walk into the traps. Okay, good. They sighed. All you have to do is get one person through. They sighed in collective relief. "We're through it, I think," Locklear said. "But be on your guard. There may be other traps." Alright, we successfully made it through that trap. This took some time for them to assemble. I thought perhaps the assassins that had attacked us thus far followed us through the Inclindel, but there are too many of them, even to chase a renegade like Gorath. Delacan has to be calling on spies already placed within the kingdom. "But Delacan sits in Sarsagoth. Word of my escape could only have traveled as we have come." The fact that we've been attacked this far south suggests otherwise. I've never been a witness to it, but I have heard of a talent called mind speech. Very few magicians have it, but the ability allows men to communicate over very long distances. Perhaps Delacan might have hired such help. "It is entirely possible. Even before I escaped from his fortress, it was rumored that the magicians with whom he has been keeping company had such talents. I know that his assistant Nago claimed to have such powers, though I never saw evidence of such." And if Delacan has the capacity, then Sorry, let me start over. And if Delacan has the capacity, then undoubtedly he shall use his assistance. So we will have to be cautious and watch out for any who seem like magicians as we head south for Krondor. Both of you, keep your eyes open. Okay, so it looks like Delacan is calling on the aid of some magicians. They've sent word ahead, and they're waiting for us. They've set traps for us, so we need to be extra cautious and look out for the magicians. The pass was empty. "It's a 5-day journey if the sign is to be believed," Locklear remarked. "It would also be an excellent place to stage an ambush. Think we should take the chance? Let's go ahead and head through the pass." Days passed. Disliking the exposed feeling created by the defile, they moved quickly during the nights and left the days for resting under rocky overhangs and listening for assassins' footsteps. At last, footsore and road-weary, they emerged near the coast of the Bitter Sea. So if you take a look at our map, we basically have jumped all the way through here. This is a place that you can't actually go. It kind of skips you. So it looks like there's a path heading due south from where we are, and the road continues to the east. Let's take a look and see what this is. We might be getting into trouble here. Night's falling. We best rest very quickly here. There we go. Aha, this is a whole roundabout that skips a huge portion of road. It's possible we might have skipped some enemy encounters by doing that. Either way, let's just continue on our way. A bird shot into the sky. Searching the landscape for the source of the animal's discomfort, Gorath whispered, "I think we might do well to pay attention to that little creature. Whatever startled it may be close at hand. If we continue in the direction we are currently headed, I suggest we do so with great caution." So there is an enemy. Owen's scouting ability increased. So there is an encounter waiting for us due south, but I don't really know of a good way to avoid it. So there's nothing to do but just to head into it. So we've got two enemy. One of them's right up in Owen's face, so he can't cast. So I'm going to move him back behind Locklear and move Locklear over here to try to block that guy. Although I wish he wouldn't have gone behind him like that. But Gorath, take him on as well. That should block him from attacking Owen. And now Owen's free to cast. We'll use the Spare Thy Eyes on this enemy. And we'll all team up on him to get him out as quickly as possible. Continue moving Owen further away. Alright, we're not having any good luck with hitting that guy. Let's try hitting the other one. Wow, these guys are pretty tough. They have a good defensive rating. But, as you see, the more we hit them, the lower their stats go. And we have victory against the first one. Owen's going to stay back for just another moment and rest. Gain back some of his stamina. And the enemy is fleeing. Owen, go ahead and blind him again. I wonder if I can hit him without hitting Locklear. No, Locklear's in the way, unfortunately. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Alright, let's try using our crossbow. We've never really done that before. Nice hit. And the enemy is down. Victory! Let's search the bodies and see what we get. Some money. Dalatail milk. Hawked at fairs and trading meets by the Brotherhood of the Shield of Dala, Dalatail milk was really nothing more than simple spring water, albeit spring water blessed by a priest of the Defender goddess. It was reputed to increase one's ability to defend oneself during combat. So that's certainly useful. Let's give that to Owen. More mortal lampreys and more armor. Let's check the other body as well. Good rations, so let's share that around the party. Some more money. An extra bowstring. And of course, more weapons and armor. Let's take a look at our own weapons quality. We'll go ahead and use our whetstones. That's an 89. Okay, and let's also use our armorer's hammer on our armor. Very nice. We'll take the better armor, and then we'll repair that even more. And as for Owen, he's only got 73, so let's give him some better armor as well. Actually, I'm going to continue to repair. But that one's not worth repairing. Okay. So we'll switch that out for Owen's. But I'm going to repair this one as well, just to get that little bit extra practice in. Oh, okay, never mind. How about this sword? There we go. And that used up the last use of that whetstone. I want to keep using those abilities, because the more you use them, the better they get. That's how you level up in this game, is to continue using your abilities. Alright, what's off in this direction? Looks like another just loop-de-loop, although it looks like there's a building over here. So let's go from that direction. Let's go to the other side and come at it from that direction. And see what that building is. After our last adventure with the plague, I'm going to go ahead and save really quickly here. I know that's a little bit like cheating, but... The man who greeted them at the door smelled of fish. "Folks call me Chanty," he said after Locklear introduced himself. After a few more minutes of friendly conversation, he revealed he was a fisherman, but he hadn't been out on his boat for several days due to his health. As he spoke, he threw dark looks at an unseen thing over Owen's shoulder. Locklear was about to ask him another question when Chanty suddenly mumbled something angrily and slammed the door closed. No amount of coaxing could convince him to open it again. The door remained closed. "Go away!" shouted a voice from inside. "Just leave me alone!" Locklear shrugged his shoulders and motioned that he was ready to leave. I just want to check everybody's condition, make sure everybody's normal. Looks like our health and stamina went up since the last time we checked them. All right, let's continue south. That was a strange encounter. All right, no obvious enemies here. Another crossroads, another little off-road, and another little house. Let's see what's here. I have to go off the road for a moment. Locklear pushed open the wooden door. "No one has lived here in some time," he said, looking around the empty room. All right, it's just empty, and that's it. But looks like it fascinated him. Not ordinarily given to morbid moods, Locklear allowed himself to study the tombstone and the name and epitaph inscribed on it. "Warning, the field beneath this stone is trapped by dirt, not by... Sorry, the fiend beneath this stone is trapped by dirt, not by death. Stay away." Turning to Locklear, Gorath said, "Shall we dig up this grave?" "Let's take a look." After a brief discussion with Gorath, Locklear shook his head. "I'm not too comfortable with the idea of accidentally digging up dead people. Besides, we would need a shovel. We'd ruin our swords digging. So if we have a shovel, we can dig up what's there. Maybe we'll come back later." Although they're warning that there's something evil buried beneath that, something dangerous. Might not be a good idea. Let's go ahead and rest for the night. Our rations are pretty good still, so perhaps at the next town we can purchase a shovel. Up, an enemy. Let's prepare for combat. Locklear charged forward. Caught off guard, their opponents scrambled around helplessly before finally squaring off in a defensive position. Exploiting their momentary advantage, Locklear barked several quick commands and prepared to join the battle. So he surprised them. We get the first round. Owen's going to quickly cast Despair Thy Eyes on the closest enemy. And we'll go ahead and get in there fast. Unfortunately, he looks like he's going after Owen, so Gorath's going to take him on. And Owen's going to move further away. Yeah, he's definitely going after Owen, and this one has a crossbow, so we have to be careful. Oh, he hit Owen. That's not good. We did a little damage. Oh, he's really doing good damage to Owen, though. This could go poorly. Let's try moving a little further away. It's hard when there's this many enemies because you really have to coordinate everything. There we go. He's finally taken some damage. I move here behind Locklear. I should be safe. Hopefully. Especially because this guy's taking quite a bit of damage. Yeah, he can't move close enough to ever catch Owen again. So I'm going to move Owen further away and start using his magic. This enemy should be doomed soon. Yeah, I bet even Owen could probably kill him at this point. But Owen is down. He's not doing very good. So let's take a moment and rest. We can regain some of our health while Locklear tries to finish this guy off. Wow, Gorath is getting hurt here. He still has all of his health, but he's losing stamina. We'll rest again, get a little bit more health back. And the first enemy's down. Alright, Gorath's going to continue sparring with this guy up here. Owen's going to move away. And Locklear's going to begin engaging this one. Let's go ahead and use our crossbow. Only a 45% chance. Ha! He's turning into a crossbow game here. Good, this one took some good damage. Owen's going to rest again. And Locklear's going to close. Fantastic. Gorath's going to Oh, I didn't mean to do that. It's very easy to click on the wrong spot if you're not paying attention. Ooh, that was a terrible hit. And the second enemy is down. Good, he's fleeing. Gorath's okay, so he's gonna go attack. Owen's gonna continue resting. And Locklear's gonna fight. And we have victory. Owen got pretty hurt there. He lost all of his stamina, but he didn't go low enough that he died, and so we don't have the near-death status like last time. And the party's abilities have increased. Locklear's melee ability went up, and his stealth. Owen's strength went up, along with his stealth as well. And Gorath's stealth and defense. So everybody's stealth went up because we got that successful approach on them, or successful surprise attack. That'll help us later. More rations, we could always use more of those. Another sword, another suit of armor. So while that was a tough battle, that was definitely well worth our time. Let's check the second body. Ooh, 8 gold pieces. Fantastic. And as for the last body, even more gold. 18. 11 crossbow quarrels. I think we may not be able to carry this last suit of armor. It's only 44%. Worse than anything else we have, so we'll leave that behind. And I don't think we can bring... Oh, we do have room for that last crossbow. Fantastic. Let's take a moment to improve all of our weapons again. Go ahead and just keep using this so we can get those increases in our abilities. Awesome. So that's 89%. Let's switch that out. There's a 96% sword here, so let's go ahead and move this sword off here for just a moment. Oh, sorry. Let's get rid of one of these ones. Put the 96 one here. We always want to use the best possible weapons and armor that we have. And then as for our armor, I believe Locklear has the hammer. Excellent. Nobody's armor's in bad shape. Let's see if Owen can use it. Oh, I thought Owen had room for it. My mistake. Sometimes it's hard to keep track of whose inventory you're looking at. There we go. That brings that back up to 84%. I'd like to go ahead and drop this armor for just a moment. Give Owen's armor to Gorath so he can repair it. Fantastic. That's up to 93. Very good. And we'll bring this one as well. Gorath's armor craftability has increased. Very good. So we're not doing terribly. Let's continue. The road is continuing to the east here, so we're going to continue heading eastward. What time of day is it? Let's see. It's still mid-morning. I'd like to camp until the next day, though, because our character's not in particularly good shape. That's better. Here's another path leading off. Looks like it ends at a house of some kind. Looks like a shop. Rygate and Supply. Let's see what they have available. Buying and selling. No repairing. A lot of good general goods here. We could get more rations if we needed them. I'm very tempted to buy that shovel. Let's see if this guy will buy the swords we have. No, he's not going to buy any of that. At this time, I don't think we have anything else we need to sell. No, but let's purchase that. Let's purchase that shovel. Let's try haggling for it. No, unfortunately, it's 6 gold. We can afford it. I want to go back and check out that grave site. It may not be in our best interest, but I really am curious to see what's there. So let's head back to the main road, head back north, and we're going to look for that house. Along the way, we should have another chance to rest up for a little bit, because nightfall should be coming soon. In fact, it is. So let's rest till the next morning. Good. Our characters are now back in the black. And why don't we save our game really quickly, just in case? I don't know what we're going to run into here. So the gravestone said, "The fiend beneath this stone is trapped by dirt, not by death. Stay away." Let's dig up the grave. The ground was too hard. Wiping the sweat from his brow, Locklear threw up his hands in frustration. "Feels like someone intentionally packed this down," he said. "Probably the family was afraid of grave robbers." Alright, so the last thing we could try here, let's return to the road for just a moment. And let's rest again until nightfall. Now that it's dark out. Let's head north now. Let's go ahead and light a torch really quickly. Very hard to see where you're going when it's dark out. Let's look at the grave now after nightfall. Okay, I thought that something might happen after dark, that maybe there was some sort of undead creature here based on what that gravestone said. But I guess there's nothing to worry about there. It was worth examining, because there are undead creatures in this game. There are ghosts. I thought that might be something we'd be running into here, but I suppose I was wrong. Let's go ahead and extinguish that torch. And let's continue our way south. Looks like that was not as much of an adventure as I thought it might be. You can see that we're walking along the coast here. The ocean's there to our east, or to the south of us. I'm not seeing any obvious oh, I think I see an enemy. Oh, no, that's a sign. Looks like we've reached town. Quester's View. Let's take a look. Let's visit Quester's View. A little roadside town here. Here's the inn. The man scowled. Apparently far more intent on something going on across the common room, he seemed uninterested in Locklear's repeated attempts to chat. At last he glanced up and gave an exasperated sigh. "What exactly do you want?" "Just a little friendly talk," Locklear said with a companionable smile. "News, gossip, a song perhaps?" "Well, go and find a bloody jongler then and leave me be. I've got better things to do than entertain every jackaboot that comes through that door." The barmaid could of course sell us none of the travel rations that we need, but there is a nearby shop if we needed that. Locklear slapped the man on the back. Immediately he regretted doing so as the mercenary gasped, his face contorting into a mask of pain. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Is your shoulder broken?" Locklear asked. "Don't worry about it," the man spat between gritted teeth. "I haven't exactly made the fact known." A faint popping sound issued from the man's back as he moved his shoulder, tears forming in the corner of his eyes. "I was a courier for the dwarves. I reasoned there would be less chance a brigand would try to intercept me if he wasn't aware I was injured." Locklear nodded sympathetically. "Did you break it in a fight?" No, a fall, the man said. Stupid man I am. I was in the dwarven caves, and I came to this pit. Part of the caves had collapsed, so there were all kinds of sinkholes everywhere. Since there wasn't a plank I could walk over, and I didn't have any kind of rope, I jumped. I think if I had the chance to make the decision again, I'd have waited until I got my hands on a coil of hemp. Locklear motioned to the man across the room. Sometimes I come to this place to drink and gab, the man said, but sometimes I come to gab. Well, then perhaps you could tell us, Locklear began hopefully. Before he could finish, the man interrupted. Today, I just came to drink. So no one's very friendly here. This poor guy was injured, falling in a hole. So let's try again. Let's try barding. Fortune smiled. Despite the fact he was stumbling through the chords of This Kingdom Mine, Owen's lack of musical mastery was masked by the raucous noise of the tavern's drunken patrons thumping their mugs to the rhythm of the music. That was interesting, the tavern keeper said. I don't think I've heard that song tortured so much in one evening. You're lucky the patrons are drunk tonight. Against my better judgment, they're demanding I pay you. Here. Withdrawing 15 sovereigns from a pouch, the tavern keeper passed them over to Owen. So we did alright, we got some money for barding. That could have gone a lot worse, and the party's barding ability has increased. Let's take a look at that. Owen's up to 42%. Very good. As our barding ability increases, that can become a fairly reliable way to make a little bit of extra money here and there. All right, let's take a look at this building here. Come in, chimed a courteous young woman in a brightly colored apron. She held the cottage door open. Kneeling in front of a stone fireplace, a young man was placing several small logs into a crackling fire. The man looked up with a smile. Yes, please, we just finished eating, but I had some luck fishing today, so there's plenty to go around. Locklear's nostrils flared as he welcomed the smell of the barbecued sea bass and fresh bread still lingering in the air. It's a tempting offer, but I'm afraid we must be going, he said. A drink of fresh water will suffice. Of course, but won't you take some food with you? Then I could have Laurelyn prepare a small package for each of you. Good for 2 days at least. She's quite a cook, you know. Sure, why not? With a smile, the young man motioned to his wife. He moved next to her and helped prepare the rations, stopping only long enough to act out several key moments in a somewhat credible fishing story about a big one that got away. When they were through, they handed several packages to Locklear, who accepted them graciously. You've been too kind, he said. Alright, so we need to take a look, because now we have too much stuff. 4 rations that they gave us, and we just don't have enough room for it. I can give some of it to Owen. Some of it to Locklear, 3 of them. I could give it to Owen. There's room. There we go. So we got a little bit of free extra food there. I'm going to go look at what this all is in just a moment. It looks like a graveyard. We'll come back to that in just a moment. There were stirrings inside the house. After a short time, a stout lad of about 13 came to the door, opening it wide. If you're looking for my brother, he's not here right now. Actually, no, Locklear replied. Are your parents about? The boy paused for a heartbeat. My folks were killed a year back. Mitch and I moved here several months ago to study swordplay with Tad Questor. We're going to find the bloody brigands who did it and feed them their own arts. Locklear was about to offer some fatherly advice about leaving such work to the older and more qualified, but seeing the boy's expression, he decided against it. Instead, he asked, Is Tad good with a sword? What? Are you kidding? He's the greatest! Lives right over there. The boy motioned towards Tad's house, then excused himself, closing the door behind him. Okay, so there's someone here who's a good swordsman. Perhaps it's that house there. Let's take a look at the shop first, though. Ah, weapons. We can sell off our extra weapons and armor here. I don't see a repair part here, so let's sell off these extras. Free up also some of our inventory space. These pieces of armor take up so much room, but that's realistic. Carrying around multiple sets of armor would be very cumbersome in real life, of course. Once again, I doubt they're going to be willing to purchase these Mordel Lampreys. Oh, he's willing to buy them. Fantastic. We can finally clear out Gorath's inventory and make quite a bit of extra money here. Wonderful. Let's take a look at our whetstone. That's got 20 good uses left. And our armorer's hammer has 15. Oh, I do not want to sell that. I wanted to look at the shop. I'll go ahead and... These are fairly inexpensive, so I'll purchase another whetstone. I'll give that one to Gorath this time. And I'll... let's see who has the best haggling ability. Owen, actually, is the best haggler. He's up at 43%. So let's try to have him purchase the armorer's hammer. And haggle. Ah, now that one's unavailable. We ticked off the shopkeeper by trying to haggle. Let's exit the shop. And we'll come back in and purchase it legitimately this time. Actually, I'm tempted to try again. No. Let's purchase it for 24 gold. I'll give this one to Gorath as well. Alright, so let's take a moment to look at the armor they offer. Because this is a lot different than the standard kingdom armor we've seen before. Also, the swords that they have. They have a Keshi and Tapir for 450 gold. That would use up almost all of our gold. A two-handed broadsword. Lacking the sharp and drooping quillions of the more basic kingdom broadswords, the two-handed variety had much to recommend itself. Heavier than a silver broadsword, the two-handed variety was broader bladed, and therefore more likely to hit and harm its intended target. As for these other types of, we can get a different type of quarrels, the Sorani quarrels. They're long, very nearly the length of a man's forearm, and twice heavier than standardized Midkemian varieties. Twin barbs swept back from its laminate point and were meant to worry a victim's wounds, inducing bleeding and eventually death. As for the armor, these are a special Sorani-style armor commissioned by Earl Kasumi for his Lemucian soldiers. It's a Sorani improvement over kingdom armor, where rigid steel plates had been traditionally riveted. The armor crafter Uliliko had used instead flexible lengths of horn, which would allow the armor to fold without being punctured. There's of course elven armor like Gorath wears, and Grey Tower plate, which is dwarven armor. Unfortunately, they don't actually give us like statistics that I can compare them here one to the other. But these are all just better types of armor. They're all very expensive at this point. Nothing that we can't afford any of this other armor, so we're gonna have to hold off for now. But these are things to think about for the future. As we continue through the game and we get more money, we may want to look into upgrading our equipment. Alright, and as for this house here, perhaps this is Tad the swordsman. Locklear knocked loudly. Presently, a finely dressed man greeted them. As he spoke, he wiped sweat from his brow with a silk handkerchief. "Fine day, don't you think? I'm Tad Quester. Have you come for a lesson?" His eyebrows raised in a hopeful arch. "Lesson?" inquired Locklear. The man disappeared into his house and returned with a blunt-tipped fencing foil. "Have you come to learn the finer arts of swordsmanship?" he asked, punctuating his question with several impressive maneuvers. "I could give you all a quick lesson for only 75 sovereigns. How does that sound?" Well, let's increase our skills. The more skilled we are, the better chance we have of reaching Krondor alive. "Wonderful! Oh, I'm so pleased you've accepted my offer," he said excitedly. As Gorath followed Tad into the small house, he was a trifle concerned about the man's credentials. After all, this strutting little peacock looked as though he had never been in a fight in his life. Their doubts were quickly dispelled as Tad took them through the finer points of sword use. Though he may not have had much experience in the field, it was evident to all that he was a master of his art. He was even able to offer Owen a few pointers on how best to use his staff in hand-to-hand combat. The lesson lasted several hours, and they were exhausted when they finished, but all agreed the money had been well spent. The party's accuracy melee ability has increased. Let's take a look at that. Look at that. Locklear's up to 66%, Owen's up to 45%, and Gorath's up to 50%. That's fantastic. That should give us a bit of an edge in our future battles. Now the little road continues here to the main road again. Up. We need rest, and over there I can see an enemy waiting for a bunch of enemies waiting for us. So let's back up. Let's head back the way we came into town. And perhaps the inn will let us sleep for the night. I didn't see a place for us to sleep where we could talk to the actual innkeeper. Oh, there we are. There's the inn. We'll go ahead and spend 9 sovereigns for the night. The Knightmaster looked tired. 9 sovereigns for the night, he grumbled. Though if you lost my beds, I'll charge you double. We turn you out at sunrise. Oh, and there's a chamber pot in the corner if you need it. Shall I sign you in for the night? We'll heal much better, of course, sleeping in an inn, so absolutely. Locklear settled up the account. Room's upstairs, the Knightmaster said. Have a good rest. The room was cramped. Shrugging, Owen stepped over snoring bodies and selected a spot of floor which looked like it might be comfortable for the night, while Gorath squeezed into a bed already occupied by 3 disheveled-looking men. Ah, the romance of traveling, Owen said with a chuckle. Locklear smiled. Still feeling lightheaded from his well-earned sleep, he waited patiently as the Knightmaster stirred from his office behind the counter. You seem to be in a good mood, the man said, picking up the guest register. Locklear replied only by nodding non-committally, knowing the innkeeper might increase his rates if he seemed too pleased with the service. Seeing as how you slept so well, how about another night, the Knightmaster asked. And just to show you how generous I am, I'll keep the same rate. 9 sovereigns per night. What do you say? Well, we're in good shape now, so we're fine. We'll be on our way. Another time, Knightmaster, he said, rapping a knuckle against the counter. A bit of advice, however. You want more customers, I'd advise dropping your prices. Even the Empress of Kesh would balk at what you're asking. Alright, let's continue on our way, and let's get into that battle that's waiting for us. Alright, I'm going to actually just make a straight shot for the road here. And we're going to try to sneak up on these enemies. They're too far away. Let's try again. Let's do it. Their attack was unexpected. Eyes wide with surprise, the enemy scrambled around helplessly. Not wanting to waste their momentary advantage, Locklear barked several quick orders, and the battle was joined. 2 Mordhel, and it looks like a pirate, some sort of brigand. Well, you know what we're going to do. Owen, blind them. We'll use the surprise round to good advantage. Ah, that one has a crossbow, and he hit Gorath. How dare you, sir? That one also has a crossbow, and he attacked Owen. I did not mean to do that, but that's fine. First enemy's down. Owen's going to go ahead and blind this gentleman over here, while Locklear and Gorath stop this guy from shooting. Because remember, if you're up against the enemies, they can't use their quarrels, they can't use their crossbows or cast spells, as you can see with Owen. Let's go ahead and heal, get some stamina back. Now we'll attack him, to keep him from being able to use his crossbow. There we go. It's almost like a, I don't know how, the word I'm trying to look for right now. There's like a, I'm trying to think of the word I'm trying to use. It's hard in the middle of combat to think. I'll explain once the battle's over. There we go. When you're fighting the enemies, what I'm trying to explain is, it's almost like I don't know why my mind is blanking. Once you hit an enemy once, it just makes it that much easier to hit them the next time as their stats continue to decrease and decrease and their stamina gets used up. It's like a snowballing effect of as you attack the enemies. The more you hit them, the more they are able to get hit. This guy had quite a bit of stuff. He had a key on him. And of course, we'll turn right around and sell all of this at the shop that's just right next to us. We don't even have to go very far. It's like free money. Another whetstone, we can always use those. Alright, let's head back into the town real quick. Back to that shop. And we'll sell off all these items. We'll take a moment to repair our own stuff. Alright, let's sell off this other stuff. We can sell these extra crossbows. We have no need for multiple crossbows. And I'd like to repair Owen's armor as well. Up to 94, that's great. Okay, so we're in... Oh, and there's a couple extra crossbows here. Just continuing to increase our wealth here. Alright, that was pretty good. It looks like our abilities increased again. Locklear's up to 61 in weapon crafting. Gorath's up to 51 in armor crafting. Fantastic. So we did pretty well. We're in good shape. We're safe in Quester's view, and we just defeated some enemies who really meant us some harm. I'm feeling pretty confident about our journey so far. And we're going to continue our way southward as we go. Let's take a look at the rest of our journey here. We've made it to Quester's view. Still awaiting us is Sarth and then Krondor. So we've made it about halfway down. We're making good progress. But there's still a lot waiting for us. I'm sure the enemies will only get harder from here. And that's what we're going to have to face next time. In our next episode, we're continuing southwards through Sarth and to Krondor. I'll see you then.